Hey everyone, thanks for coming back. Today we're going to build something. Get your movie morpher, your power coins, throw this thing in the garbage. That's pointless. We're going to use these today.
Yeah.
Maybe don't throw this out. We'll use this later. Alright, so for today's build you're going to need some polystyrene foam. You can get this at any hardware store. Sandpaper, get a rough grit, I'm going with 40. Any acrylic paints, generic works here, it's really cheap. It dries matte as well, which is what you want with this. And some Mod Podge. So the first thing you want to do here is just draw your design out on the foam. Don't do anything too fancy, just a lot of random straight lines. Get a design you're comfortable with and you think looks like a rock face and go from there. Cut it out using an X-Acto knife. This foam cuts a lot better if you used a heated knife or heated wire, but since we're building a rock face, go ahead and use an X-Acto knife. You could probably even get away with using scissors at this point because we want really jagged edges. You can cut directly through the foam or just break it off after you score it. If you do break it off, just clean up your edges a little bit, sharpen them up. There might be some spots that filled up a little bit, so you'll want to cut those out just to get your structure looking like a rock. So now that we're done there, get some sandpaper, and you're going to want to lightly go in one direction. Do a few scores in the opposite direction as well. This is just going to help with texture. So next, if you have a sculptor's ribbon, that's what I'm using. You can use a nail head. You can see how half of the face is already torn out. You're going to want to dig into the foam. I'm using 1/2 inch foam, so I'm not digging too deep. Depending the thickness of your foam, you can go a little bit deeper, which will give a much better look in my opinion. Don't be fancy at all here. Make sure to hit all your edges. As you're going, you can rub in your scores with your hands to pull out extra chips, but really scratch a lot of this off. There's no right or wrong here, so just keep going until you're happy with the outcome. I'm satisfied with this, so on to Mod Podging. I find it best to mix a black acrylic with your Mod Podge. This way you can definitely tell when your entire piece is coated. I find the best ratio for this 1 part acrylic to 3 part Mod Podge. You get a nice black stain. It makes it easier to paint over as well. So you're basically just going to dry brush this after, since your Mod Podge was black. I like to start with a light color and move on to a darker color. Don't have too much paint on the brush because you'll see here I had a little too much paint on the brush. It does give a pretty cool effect, but depending what you're going for, this might be a mess to you. As you're dry brushing, try to make sure your indentations stay a nice black. This is going to give a really good depressed look. Add a lighter color to all the pieces you didn't dig out, and this will really help those pop. So that's pretty much it at this point. What you can do next is put your power coins on the back, trace them, and then cut them out. When you're cutting them out, I suggest always cutting from the back of the foam. This way you don't damage any of your paint on the front. The cool thing about this is if you decide not to cut out your power coins, you can use it as a backing for a set, or even use this method to make a base. So I think that looks pretty cool even behind my Ninja Steel set. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for today, and I think this thing looks pretty cool even without the LEDs on. For the do-it-at-homer, go to a dollar store and pick up a string light of LEDs, glue it to the back. That's your best bet to get this done. This was a really fun build for me, so what I'm going to do is next video I'm going to be giving one away to a random subscriber, so be sure you're subscribed. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you like the video, and I'll be back soon.